Have you ever noticed yourself bumping up against the same frustration again and again? Like no matter how much you grow, certain patterns keep sneaking back in. Maybe you've been called too much your whole life. So you water down and you try to make yourself more palatable at work or in relationships. Maybe you always end up overcommitting, taking care of everyone else and wondering why you feel so drained. Or maybe you've been told you're so strong that you don't even notice when your tone is harsh or dismissive with the people you love. What's really happening here is that this is not just a bad habit. It's a blind spot, or it's something deeper, shadow work maybe. That's what we're talking about today. I'm Patty Ferreira, and welcome to Awakened and Rising. I'm a mentor for high-achieving women who want a more conscious and aligned approach to success. They want success with satisfaction and fulfillment. If you're new here, hit subscribe so you don't miss these conversations that blend spiritual awakening, emotional intelligence, and high-level leadership. Today, we're breaking down the difference between blind spots and shadow work, and why knowing the difference can completely change the way you grow. So let's start with blind spots. Now, a blind spot is something you can't see clearly about yourself. It's a behavior, a belief, or pattern that influences you, but you're not aware of it. For example, you might think you're being assertive in a meeting, but your team experiences you as harsh, abrasive, or dismissive even. You don't realize it because it's in your blind spot. Or maybe you equate your worth with productivity. So you're overfunctioning, overdoing, taking on too much, and struggle to delegate. From your perspective, you're just being responsible. But from the outside, it looks like control and mistrust even. Blind spots usually come from conditioning, old habits, or defense mechanisms. And the tricky thing is you can't always spot them on your own. That's why feedback, coaching, or life lessons are often what brings them into the light. Now let's talk about shadow work. Shadow work is deeper. It's about the parts of yourself you've repressed, denied, or hidden away, often because of shame, trauma, or early conditioning. Maybe as a child, you learned that anger wasn't safe. So as an adult, you deny feeling it altogether. You push it down, but that anger still lives in your shadow. It leaks out in passive aggressiveness or self-sabotage until you face it. Maybe you grew up hearing that being creative was frivolous, so you lock that part of yourself away. Now you find yourself yearning for expression, but telling yourself, I don't have time for that. There's no room for that. Or maybe you grew up thinking that sensuality, sexuality, and being in touch with your body was wrong. Now you feel cut off from your sense of confidence, your femininity, or your ability to be open and affectionate in romantic partnerships. There's a lot of different types of shadows, and they show up differently depending on your unique experiences and circumstances. But we all have disowned parts of ourselves that we've tried to bury. Shadow work is about reclaiming those disowned parts, both the ones you've labeled as bad, like jealousy or fear, and sometimes even the powerful ones like creativity or sensuality. It's not about fixing, it's about integration. So how are blind spots and shadow work different? Think of blind spots as what you don't realize you're doing, and think of shadow work as what you don't want to admit you are. Blind spots are usually easier to bring into awareness with reflection or feedback. Shadow work requires you going deeper into the places you'd rather avoid, the feelings you've judged, or the qualities you've disowned. There is some overlap and connection, though, and it's important that you understand that both blind spots and shadow patterns quietly drive your behavior. Both can hold you back from living fully in alignment with your truth. And both require courage and self-awareness to bring into the light. When you start working with them, when you stop ignoring what's unseen, you get your power back. Now, let's go through a few real-life examples to really ground these concepts. We'll start with a common blind spot. Perfectionism. You believe success requires you to be perfect, so you're constantly criticizing yourself, moving the goalpost, and never celebrating your wins. From your perspective, you're motivating yourself. From the outside, people see you as never satisfied, never happy with yourself, being hard on yourself. The shadow of perfectionism, underneath that perfectionism, might be shame, the belief that you're not perfect, you're unworthy of love or belonging. Shadow work means facing the wound, feeling and reclaiming your worth apart from achievement. Another common example is people-pleasing. Maybe you think keeping the peace makes you a great leader, a good parent, a good partner, etc., etc. So you avoid conflict, soften your truth, or over-accommodate others. Beneath that pattern might be fear of being rejected, abandoned, or judged if you stand fully in your power. Shadow work means letting yourself feel that fear and reclaiming your right to be fully seen. Blind spot work makes you more aware. Shadow work makes you more whole. Both are essential to becoming the awakened, conscious, successful, grounded, abundant, and embodied woman and leader you want to be. This is the heart of my program, From Blind Spots to Brilliance. As I'm recording this, we have relaunched that program. This intensive journey of self-reflection is now available as a self-led program where you'll learn how to uncover your own blind spots, explore your shadows with compassion, and step into your power, purpose, and peace. I'm going to drop the link in the notes if you want to learn more. But whether you join us or not, here's your reflection for this week. Where are you feeling the most friction in your life right now? Is it showing you a blind spot or pointing you towards shadow work? Remember, neither is a sign that you're broken. They're both sacred invitations to grow. And when you accept those invitations, you step closer to the woman you're meant to be. I'd love to hear your reflections in the comment. Please share. I want to make this a dialogue. And if this conversation spoke to you, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Until next time, deep bow for committing to this life-changing work.